Now, Kenya is facing a deepening fuel supply crisis as global oil disruptions impact the country due to the war in Iran. Independent petroleum retailers warn shortages are spreading, with fears of hoarding and price hikes looming. The Petroleum Outlets Association of Kenya has reported that nearly 20% of the outlets are experiencing shortages following the regulator's decision to freeze pump prices despite rising international crude costs. The association said that dealers are likely to start hoarding petroleum products in anticipation of consumer fuel price hikes next month.
Because of the sustained supply issues, we are having gaps within the supply chain. And these gaps have now started to reflect in our local supply. And this supply gap now, the people are starting to do hedging. People are starting to look at their internal arrangements of how to maximize. Remember, just as states, private entities are rational entities. They are out for profit.
Now, African countries are among the most vulnerable to both supply disruptions and rising fuel prices. The ongoing conflict has halted shipments of about 1/5 of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas through the Strait of Hormuz. Kenya, in particular, has been heavily exposed as it relies entirely on Gulf producers for its fuel imports. On March 14, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority announced that retail pump prices would remain unchanged for 30 days. This decision came as shipments from West Asia slowed sharply due to the ongoing conflict in Iran.
We have 68% of all petroleum outlets are non-franchised. They are not beholden to the multinationals. They don't have supply contracts to the multinationals. And so when EPRA announced the prices, and they did not announce what we call the wholesale cap, so they left that group of people exposed to what I would call exploitative tendency.
Well, for more on this, our correspondent Louisa Olani has sent us this report. Listen in.
Fuel is running out at many independent petrol stations in Kenya. Industry leaders say about 20% of stations are already dry. Supply problems linked to the Middle East conflict and a local price freeze mean dealers risk selling at a loss. There are also warnings that the situation could become a full crisis within 2 weeks as fears of hoarding grow. The government is also under pressure to act fast. Now, the problem is not just in Kenya, it is spreading across many African countries as they depend heavily on Middle East fuel and prices have risen up to about 4%. For now, the continent remains vulnerable to global oil shocks with no quick solution in sight. From Lagos, Nigeria, Louisa Olani, WION World this morning.